Prime Minister Starmer said specifically it will mean UK boots on the ground and planes in the air. From your answer, I am taking that that will not mean Canadian boots on the ground. Is that, just to finish, is that the case, or are you considering Canadian boots on the ground in the form of peacekeepers down the road?
Every step of the way, Canada has looked at the ways it can best help. And as I've said a few days ago, everything's on the table. We know that the Canadian military has ways that it can contribute. We're not going to get ahead of the discussions on how to keep a peace that isn't yet in place. But Canada will be there and is open to doing what is necessary, but those will be decisions taken in the coming years by Canadians and their government.
Dylan Robertson of the Canadian Press. Prime Minister, in your audience tomorrow with the King, what is your message for him, and do you want him to speak out for Canadian sovereignty, whether that's in public or when he has his meeting with the President?
I look forward to sitting down with His Majesty tomorrow. As always, we will discuss matters of importance to Canada and to Canadians, and I can tell you that nothing seems more important to Canadians right now than standing up for our sovereignty and our independence as a nation.
And Prime Minister, what message did you have for Prime Minister Starmer? Did you ask him to speak up for Canadian sovereignty, and is it acceptable that he's taken a pass on that? I can actually highlight that Prime Minister Starmer spoke during a PM question period last week, I believe, on how Canada is a strong and valued ally and partner, I know our allies will continue to be there to count on Canada and defend Canada in our strong sense of identity and independence.
Hi, Prime Minister. Tom Perry, CBC. You had some time, we saw today, to talk with President Zelensky. I'm wondering what you can tell us about what you discussed, and I'm specifically curious whether you spoke about his encounter with President Trump and Vice President Vance on Friday.
Obviously, I have spent a lot of time with Volodymyr Zelensky over the past years. We had a great sit-down just last week when I was, a few days ago, when I was in Kyiv to talk exactly about how much Canada stands with Ukraine unequivocally and always, and how much we stand and support him personally as a president, as a leader, as someone who has devoted himself to protecting Ukrainians and indeed protecting the principles and rules that underpin all of our democracies. I have continued to emphasize to him that Canada will always stand with Ukraine.
You clearly admire President Zelensky, so I'm wondering what you thought when you saw the treatment that he received in the Oval Office on Friday.
I think, first of all, it's important every chance we get to lay out the facts as clearly as possible. In 2014, Russia chose to invade Ukraine, to occupy Crimea and parts of eastern Ukraine. For that, they were kicked out of the G7. And in 2022, they chose to violate the existing ceasefire and invaded Ukraine with the intention of taking Kyiv in 3 days and the entire country in 3 weeks. That has failed. Russia continues to try to fight to claim more land in Ukraine, and we could see an end to this war tomorrow if Russia decided to stop its illegal invasion of Ukraine. On Friday in the Oval Office, President Zelensky pointed out in so many words that Vladimir Putin is a liar and a criminal and cannot be trusted to keep his word in any way, shape, or form, because he has demonstrated time and time again that he will break any agreements. I stand with Vladimir Zelensky, and I stand with the people of Ukraine.
That wasn't the question.
And you
You and all of the leaders that you met with today have made many trips to Ukraine over recent years, trips that Vice President J.D. Vance called propaganda tours. Do you think now that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance themselves should travel to Ukraine to see what the situation actually is, given the factual errors they made in that Oval Office meeting on the situation?
I think there's no substitute for being there on the ground and seeing both the sandbags on street corners in Kyiv, talking with Ukrainians who express concerns for their loved ones, their brothers, their fathers who are on the front lines, but also see the resilience and the strength and the determination of Ukrainians as they go about their daily lives, as they continue to go to movies and eat on street-side patios and have a semblance of a normal life, even as an enemy country is busy trying to kill their family members and take their land. Ukrainians are an extraordinary inspiration to all who meet them. Canada is lucky to have the second largest Ukrainian diaspora in the world, and we have known for over 100 years how incredible Ukrainians are, and I think it would do well for any and all leaders who have the opportunity to go to Ukraine, to spend a little time with heroic Ukrainians who are fighting not just for their own sovereignty, but for the very principles that underpin all of our democracies.